Hello everyone, my name is Kristal Lattouf and today I will be talking about network security and cryptography. Before starting this presentation, let me take you over the plan. At first, I will start with a small introduction talking about the topic and presenting it. After that, I will present the types of security attacks and the security services. Once finished, I will define cryptography and then I will talk about its types. Once done with the cryptography, I will define network security, go over the types of network security, and finally, I will talk a little bit about firewalls. In the present, security of the system is the sole priority of any organization. Their main aim is to protect their data from attackers. Network security and cryptography is a concept to protect network and data transmission over wireless networks. A network security system typically relies on layers of protection and consists of multiple components, including networking monitoring and security software in addition to hardware and appliances. All components work together to increase the overall security of the computer network. Security of data can be done by a computer technique called cryptography. One can say that it is an emerging technology which is important for network security. There are two types of security attacks. I will start with the passive one. As illustrated in the picture below, a passive attack is the observation or monitoring of communication. A passive attack attempts to learn or make use of the information in the system but does not affect system resources. The goal is to obtain information that is being transmitted. Types of passive attacks. First, there is the traffic analysis. The message traffic is sent and received in an apparently normal fashion, and neither the sender nor the receiver is aware that a third party has read the messages or observed the traffic patterns. Second, the release of message contents. Read contents of messages from sender to receiver. The second type of security attacks are the active ones. Also, as illustrated in the picture below, the active attacks are the attempts to alter system resources or affect their operation. It involves some modification of the data stream or the creation of a false stream. There are many types of active attacks. First, there is the modification of messages. Some portion of a legitimate message is altered or that messages are delayed or reordered. Second, the denial of service. The denial of service is an entity that may suppress all messages directed to a particular destination. Third, replay. It involves the passive capture of data unit and its subsequent transmission to produce an unauthorized effect. And fourth, masquerade. Masquerade takes place when one entity pretends to be a different one. Security services. It is a service that is provided by a protocol layer of communicating open systems and that ensures adequate security for the systems or of the data transfers. It enhances the security of data processing and transferring. 1. Data integrity. It can apply to a stream of messages, a single message, or selected fields within a message. A loss of integrity is the unauthorized modification or destruction of information. 2. Data confidentiality. It is about preserving authorized restrictions on information access and disclosure, including means for protecting personal privacy and proprietary information. A loss of confidentiality is the unauthorized disclosure of information. 3. Authenticity. It provides the authentication to all the node and base station for utilizing the available limited resources. It also ensures that only the authorized node can participate for the communication. Non-repudiation prevents either sender or receiver from denying a transmitted message. When a message is sent, the receiver can prove the alleged sender in fact sent the message. Similarly, when a message is received, the sender can prove that the alleged receiver did in fact receive the message. 5. Access control. Access control is the ability to limit and control the access to host systems and applications via communication links. To achieve this, each entity trying to gain access must first be identified or authenticated so that access rights can be tailored to the individual. What is cryptography? Cryptography is the study and practice of techniques for secure communication in the presence of third parties called adversaries. It deals with developing and analyzing protocols which presents malicious third parties. It is a method of storing and transmitting data in a particular form so that only those for whom it is intended to can read it. Types of cryptography. There are in general 3 types of cryptographic schemes typically used to accomplish the goals mentioned before. I will start with the secret key cryptography. It is a single key is used for both encryption and decryption. A secret key cryptography is also called symmetric encryption. With this form of cryptography, it is obvious that the key must be known by both the sender and the receiver. The biggest difficulty in this approach is the distribution of the key. Secret key cryptography schemes are generally categorized as being either stream ciphers or block ciphers. Stream ciphers operate on a single bit at a time. The key is constantly changing. For the block ciphers, it encrypts one block of data at a time, using the same key on each block every time. Second, there is the public key cryptography. It is a form of crypto system which encryption and decryption are performed using different keys, one public and one private. These keys are mathematically related, although knowledge of one key does not allow someone to easily define the other key, because a pair of keys is required. This approach is called also asymmetric cryptography. It can be used for confidentiality, authentication, or both. Public key cryptography algorithms that are in use today for key exchange or digital signatures include RSA. It is used in hundreds of software products and can be used for key exchange, digital signature, or encryption for small blocks of data. Second, the Diffie-Hellman key exchange. This protocol enables 2 users to establish a secret key using a public key scheme based on a discrete logarithms. 3. Elliptic curve cryptography. It is an analog of Diffie-Hellman exchange. It is a public key cryptography algorithms based upon elliptic curves. And fourth, the digital signature standard. It uses the secure hash algorithms. A digital signature is an authentication mechanism that enables the creator of a message to attach a code that acts like a signature. Third, there is the hash functions. They are also called one-way encryption. They are algorithms that use no key. The principal object of a hash function is data integrity. The hash algorithm involves repeated use of compression functions that takes 2 inputs and produces an output. At the start of hashing, the chaining variable has an initial value that is specified as part of the algorithm. The final value of the changing variable is the hash value. The secure hash algorithm is a family of cryptographic hash functions. Network security involves the authorization of access to data in network, which is controlled by the network administrator. Users choose or are assigned an ID and password or other authentication information that allows them access to information and programs within their authority. There are 4 types of network security. I will start with the wireless network security. It is the prevention of unauthorized access or damage to computers using wireless networks. The Wireless Transport Layer Security, or WTLS, provides security services between the client and the Wireless Application Protocol Gateway to the Internet. There are many approaches to the WAP end-to-end security. The important WTLS concepts are the secure sessions and the secure connection. First, the secure connection is a connection that is a transport that provides a suitable type of service. For SSL, such connections are peer-to-peer relationships. Every connection is associated with one session. Between any pair of parties, there may be multiple secure connections. Second, a secure session. An SSL session is an association between a client and a server. Sessions are created by handshake protocol. Sessions define a set of cryptographic security parameters which can be shared among multiple connections. Once a session is established, there is a current operating state for both read and write, or receive and send. Second, there is the IP security or IPsec. It is a protocol suite for securing IP communications by authenticating and encrypting each IP packet of a communication session. IPsec includes protocols for establishing mutual authentication between agents at the beginning of the session and negotiations of cryptographic keys to be used during the sessions. It can be used in protecting data flows between a pair of hosts, a pair of security gateways, or a host and a security gateway. IPsec is said to be especially useful for implementing virtual private networks and for remote user access through dial-up connection and private networks. Advantage of IPsec is that security arrangement can be handled without requiring changes to individual user computers. Third, there is the electronic mail security. Email is vulnerable to both active and passive attacks. The protection of email from unauthorized access and inspection is known as electronic privacy. With the explosively growing reliance on email, there grows a demand for authentication and confidentiality services. Two schemes stand out as approaches that enjoy widespread use: the Pretty Good Privacy, or PGP, and Secure Multipurpose Internet Mail Extension, SMIME. First, PGP. It is an open-source, freely available software package for email security. It provides authentication through the use of digital signature, confidentiality through the use of symmetric block encryption, compression, the zip algorithm, and email compatibility using encoding schemes. 2. The SMIME. It is an internet standard approach to email security that incorporates the same functionality as the Pretty Good Privacy. Fourth, there is the Transport Level Security, or TLS. It is an initiative whose goal is to produce an internet standard version of SSL. Secure Socket Layer, or SSL, provides security services between TCP and applications that use TCP. The internet standard version is called TLS. The TLS record format is the same as the SSL record format. Finally, I will be talking about firewalls. A firewall forms a barrier through which the traffic going in each direction must pass. A firewall security policy dictates which traffic is authorized to pass in each direction. Firewalls impose restrictions on incoming and outgoing network packets to and from private networks. Incoming and outgoing traffic must pass through the firewall, and only authorized traffic is allowed to pass through it. Thank you for listening, and I hope that you enjoyed this presentation.